Welcome to the Holy Shit, I'm Healing podcast, powered by Whispers Bridge. Raw talks on recovery, spirituality, and becoming someone you actually like.
Series 2, The Wake Up Calls, Episode 4, The Bottom Fell Out. When everything collapsed, it didn't just impact us, it rippled out to those around us, stirring up misunderstanding, miscommunication, and pain we never intended. In this episode, we share what it felt like when the bottom truly fell out and how that breaking point became the fire we needed to clear the old and start fresh. Hi, I'm Casina.
Hi, it's Tasia.
Hi, it's Trisha.
All right, so we're diving right in. Our bottom falling out stories. We are definitely going to have to talk about it, right? I think anyone who gets to a point in their life where things have dramatically changed, something dramatic usually happened before that. And that's really what we're going to hone in on today is what it was like mentally, physically, spiritually for ourselves. Specifically me and Trisha coming into recovery and getting sober. And also just what the hell was for the people around us, which is where Tasia is going to play her part in all this. Because unfortunately she was around for a lot of it. So, all right, Trish, I want you to go back to the last year, the last 6 months, 3 months before you got sober. If you can describe to us what it was like physically for you, bring us back to then.
Physically, emotionally drained. I was really depressed. There were times where I didn't want to live anymore. And I was so sick and suffering. Not only my mind, but my body too was just shutting down and just constantly getting sick. I started putting on a lot of weight too because I was just drinking, eating, and not taking care of myself. That's what it was physically.
All right. Physically for me, it was a lot of bumps and bruises. I always woke up with random cuts on me. No idea what happened to my body. Physically had no clue. Sick as a dog often. I did not ever really drink anything that wasn't alcohol. So I was always really, really dehydrated. I remember shaking a lot, not like those morning shakes, but just my nerves were just shot, like I was really just not well. And I looked sick a little bit, bloated, puffy, but like sadness in the eyes kind of thing. Do you have any remembrance of what I looked like at the end physically? This could be a trap question. She's like, you're beautiful. You've always been beautiful.
I mean, no, it's interesting because you were always a makeup artist. So like you always did your hair great. Like that's what you did. So it always looks good.
Right.
But then when I saw you, before any of that stuff went on, you were to hide it really well. I was like, this chick is a hot mess. And I didn't want any part of it. So I tried to stay distanced away.
Yeah. Which is so weird. I actually forgot that. That was when I did heavy makeup, like that smoky eye, I was having a bad day. I had to cover more of what was inside with the outside. I would dye my hair. I would get my outfit. I really tried to make that outside look okay. But ultimately, the moment an outfit came off or the makeup came off, there's bruises everywhere. There's damage being done, So that thanks for that memory.
That's so fun. I never would wear makeup.
Really?
When I was like drunk, I was like, no, I'm like, I don't give a crap how I look. And I was like this big, puffy, like red face, and hair was always back, and I had leggings and Ugg boots and sweatshirts. I never.
We all have trauma from your legging and Ugg boot story. If anyone hasn't seen it,
Oh my
the beginning of the series.
So funny. Those Ugg boots have been thrown out though. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah,
episode,
well,
but
I'm sure much
so.
needed. The end of my nights were like that. The end of my nights physically looked. I remember my friend took a picture of us going out that night, right? I was tan, perfect contoured cheek, right? Like the whole everything was just, again, hair and makeup artist. I knew how to play the part, make everything look okay. And she took a picture of us at the end of the night, and I swear I was like 9 shades paler.
Oh my gosh.
I had black all down my face. My hair was like this frizzy hot mess. My clothes were filthy. Like, and it was the same night. It's not even like it was just a good day versus bad day. It was a 6 hour difference of what happened when alcohol entered my body, and I couldn't stop. It was a disaster. Um, so yeah, that's pretty wild. All right. So what about emotionally? How are you emotionally? Like inside that last like year or so before you got sober?
Mm,
This is like sad stuff,
it's
but
it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I cried a lot. I'm not crying, but no, I cried a lot because I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to drink or drug, and I kept praying and praying. Just let me not do this today. I was so I was so depressed. I oh my god, I'm like it's so hard to like remember, like how it was and just looking at myself in the mirror and not recognizing myself anymore, not wanting to look at myself and you know, oh man, this one's tough.
yeah, no, remembering is hard.
And the damage I was doing around everybody, and the damage I was doing to myself. You don't want to live anymore. You get to a point. It's like, when is this going to stop? When am I going to stop?
Yeah, not being able to is it's truly hell on earth.
And I
You
remember
know, it really
it,
is such a dark place to be, and it doesn't feel like there's a way out. It doesn't,
no,
because it's Groundhog Day. It's
yeah,
this continual cycle
living
of repetitiveness.
insanity. And I remember, I don't know if anybody else has had the experience, but I was in so much emotional pain that like like I was a cutter. I would get the razor and cut my leg and just to release something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, physical pain, I think, was always easier than
Yep.
emotional pain. And I think that's like, I totally identify with stuff like that. Me and Trish have very similar stories. Every time she says something, I'm like, me too. It's come out a bunch of times, where I would rather always feel physical pain instead of emotional pain, and emotionally too. My bottom it was horrific. It was that I kept waking up with remorse, disgust, regret. I had no way of coping with those things, so I had to drink. Then I drank, and then the same things would happen, if not worse. They would always fall back on this scale of something's getting fucked up somehow. As much as I try, all right, vodka makes me punch people in the face. I'm gonna try wine. Wine, I then have that really big. Remember the jugs, the big ones I had. I would have that before I went out by myself in my room. There'd be like this much left, and I bring it with me to go. And um, yeah, emotionally, I was not able to cope with life. I was not able to handle much of anything. Everything felt very dark, heavy, extreme. Um, I always felt misunderstood. And that would just fuel my alcoholism because nobody knew what was going on inside. And I didn't know how to cope with it.
Either I wouldn't explain things properly or I would over explain and I'm like, nobody's gonna understand like what's going on in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Addiction is very messy, and I think me and Tasia have learned that the hard way as far as her conception of what she thought alcoholism was versus what I was. I think for a while there, it was, this is who my sister is, and didn't understand that this is my sister who has a disease and she's sick. And thankfully, as time has gone on, we've come to understand each other in a whole different way, which I can't wait for the later episodes where we really dive into like the light at the end of the tunnel, the work that was done to get past all of this part. But it is important, especially for people who are in it right now and don't think there's a way out, for people who think what they're going through is normal and everybody does it.
I was just gonna say, if you think it's impossible, me and Christina are sitting right next to each other with a business together, so nothing is impossible.
Right? And like we don't kill each other or like want to.
Not
You know, because wanting
anymore.
to is also in a whole other category. Internally, in our inner world, it is completely different from what it used to be.
Yeah,
Um,
it's possible. Change is genuinely possible.
yeah. So,
Mm.
yeah, emotionally hot mess. Best way I could describe it. I don't want to get too deep into it, but it was a dark hole.
It fucking sucked.
It did.
It fucking sucked.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
I would
Mhm.
never want to do it again. I would never
No.
want to do it again.
No.
It was horrific. The best thing you could do is buckle up, hold the fuck on, and go find some help because that was the only way it was going to change.
Mhm.
All right, spiritually, how are we?
Oh, oh, my God is with me. You know, and like
Then.
then. Oh, then.
I was like, bitch.
Today, let me tell you who is with me.
She's like, I am on fire.
Spiritually, nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely.
No prayer, no meditation, no God, no
No,
grandparents that passed away. No,
Nope.
there was a zero wall.
there was
Like
no,
not even like a fathom of a thought.
no,
Like zero.
no, nothing. Because the God I grew up with was that punishing God. Like, God must hate me. God. And I didn't have a good relationship with God because of the traumas that I went through as a teenager. So I didn't believe in any of that. So why would he help me? So I didn't believe in anything. I mean, I believed in like spirits and ghosts, but
Yeah, nothing to.
but nothing
ask
ever
for
came.
help.
Yeah. No.
They're vaping. She cauut me.
For this episode, we need it. I feel.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, I don't even care.
All right, I don't care right
I'm
now
gonna
either.
vape. We're gonna vape on this episode.
I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was the incense. Yeah, spiritually for me. So there was that moment in time when my alcoholism started to kick off, right, where I swore off God, all of what that was. Fast forward, there was that moment where I knew I was an alcoholic. I had that breaking point of, oh my God, I'm an alcoholic. It was after that conversation I actually started praying again in the mornings. And those prayers were, I can't keep doing this. Please just help me. Kind of like, all right, this is my problem. This is where I'm at. This is what I keep doing. It was just more conversational in my car rides. And then towards the end, you know, I was dating a heroin addict. So, you know, he was my, I'm not bad as bad as this guy, you know, and it was just this one night where my alcoholism, his drug addiction, it was just like at an all-time peak. And I actually said like that first honest prayer of like, I can't keep living like this. I don't know what to do. And the next morning he ended up coming clean that he was doing heroin. We took him to detox. We took him down to, he went down to Florida to rehab, and he was sober for years. He had like over 12 years sober. I didn't end up getting sober for another 2 years after that. But in those 2 years, my life started to completely shift after that prayer. People were put into my life who inspired me to be better. I started to see the world I wanted to have instead of the world that I was living, the life that I wanted, who I wanted to be. That was those 2 years of trying to control the drinking. Those were the 2 years of being really aware of my drinking and trying to fix it. And spiritually, I started to pray throughout that. And I would get those signs. I started getting the signs then. And for me, it was like I needed that slow erosion of what my life used to be for me to be willing to really fully jump into recovery. And, you know, spiritually, my last drink wasn't this crazy experience. It wasn't a good night by any means, you know. It was another shit show of a night. You know, we were out. I thought I was in that phase of controlling it, you know, and we get back to our friend's house and I think, okay, I'm safe now, you know, because I'm in a house. I'm safe. I can now I could drink. You know, it was like that animal was just waiting to come out. And I took 3 shots back to back to back. And within an hour, all hell broke loose. It was me and my ex screaming and fighting. And, you know, it was January 29th, 2011. You know, it's winter time. And I'm, you know, walking outside. He's walking home and I'm dramatically crying and chasing him and barefoot and in shorts. And just, it was, again, I woke up with that mascara everywhere, with that emotional bottom, with that physical disgust, with that spiritual bankruptcy of just like, yo, I can't, like, just saying like those foxhole prayers of like, help me, please help me not get arrested right now because I just failed a breathalyzer and blew a stop sign and it was swerving and like true stories, you know, but like I got out of those things. But this was the part where I knew I was going to hit a point of no return. I spiritually felt that. I spiritually felt that I am not going to live much longer if I keep going this way. My drinking will take me out, and I had this knowing feeling of that. You know, the paranoia, the jumpiness, the nerves, like just being at a heightened state. I would be scared to walk to my car to the front door. That's how like I was crawling in my own skin in active alcoholism. You know, and that was my bottom falling out. That was where it was all going to just be different finally, you know? And it was in surrendering that, in being okay with the fact, not okay with it. Surrendering and acceptance don't mean you like it and you approve. It just means it is.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, you know, I don't want it this way. I would definitely pick different at that point in time. But it is, I am, you know, I am. Trish, for you, did you have a, like, what was one of your bottoms falling out where it just like shifted everything? I think you touched on it last time. It was the last night you drank was also like,
Yeah.
the bottom.
Yeah,
for
that
you?
was the bottom. So much was like leading up to that I would hide alcohol everywhere in water bottles. I would put it in coat pockets, in boots, in tampon boxes, you know, and then even like drugs, I would get like pills, perks, Vicodin, oxys, whatever, and like wrap them up in tissues and like place them in my purse so I knew where they were. Or I would put them in other pill bottles. And leading up to that, Stephen, just like one morning before I got sober, we had a fight because of my drinking. And that morning he started opening up all of my hiding spots. Like, you think you're really hiding this? This is no way to live in this. And I was like, oh my God. This
He
is so
knows.
bad. Like, he knows. And I didn't even know, like, when I would like go up to bed, he would go through my purse and he would take pictures and look up like, what drugs is this? Like, what is she doing? And me, just the constant lying, everything. I lied about everything. And that last night, I was surprisingly, girls, cooking dinner.
What?
I know.
She did have a spiritual experience that night.
And I remember
What'd you make?
it was some like HelloFresh meal, and I couldn't like follow
so you're fucking
directions.
cheating.
Well, yeah,
You're cheating. That doesn't even count. That's a prep.
but still, I
But
was
you know what?
cooking.
For you, yeah,
For me,
you're right. All right, we'll give you credit.
it was-
If
We'll give
you
you
had
credit.
to
for me.
heat it up, it counts.
Yeah, right.
Well, this is
Oh,
like a
the-
recipe you
yeah,
follow.
you got to follow
But yeah,
everything.
But they
and-
give you everything you need already.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Oh my God, there was one night when I was cooking it was a zest lemon. I had no idea what a zest thing meant, so I just like cut pieces of the lemon to like skin, and I'm like, look, I zested. They're like,
Yeah,
"What?" It was like just chunks of lemon. It was that
Ew,
Christmas.
that's
I
like
got
chop.
like it was so
That's
gross.
chop. That's
It
not
was
zest.
Christmas.
Do you know what zest is, Taze?
Yeah, I know. What
Okay.
that is.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you got like the zester.
Yes,
So like I got
okay.
5 of those for Christmas
Suck
from
it.
his family.
I fucking hate cooking, but I know what zest is.
I'm like, do you know what zest is?
I had no idea. But it was that night, and I wound up, my last drink, it was Fireball. Because I was like, they didn't have Tito's that I wanted. So I was like, all right, let me just get Fireball. And I learned not to bring alcohol into the house, so I would just keep it in my car. And so before I'm walking into the house, shots of Fireball. And I'm inside, I'm cooking. There was a knock on the door, and the neighbor was like, oh, hey, you left your light on in your car. And Steven's like, oh, I'll go take care of that. I'm like, no, no, I got it. Like, don't worry about it, because the fear of he's going to search my car and find my alcohol. Like, he's going to know that I'm drunk. And yeah.
Oh, I hated those moments.
Yeah. So at that moment, I went out to the car and came back in, and I really, I just blacked out. I don't remember. I guess he would tell me I was like slamming the dishes, and I was just throwing the plates and just being and this was all in front of my stepson too, which was yucky. So freaking yucky. And I remember I went up to bed and I could not sleep that night because I knew he was going to leave me. Like that was it.
Yeah. These suck. These stories suck.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also needed.
Also,
because who would ever change unless scorecards read 0, right? If you're being enabled, if you still have money in the bank, if you still have all these things, right? Why would you change?
Yeah.
I know so many people who are functioning alcoholics where they clearly very much have problems. And I'm not the one to say that they have problems. This has been said that they have a problem. But because there's no repercussions, there's no major damage, you linger in that limbo state, so as much as our bottoms and our experiences and our stories looking back really do hurt to see, and we're going to dive into more as far as like what it was like for others, it needed to be that way for us to be able to learn our lessons and change and not go back to it.
Yeah.
I needed every shitty relationship. I needed every tear that I made my mom cry. Like, that sounds so twisted, but I was not capable of making a different choice until I really started to see what my choices were doing, which is going to bring us into Tasia, like the family dynamic and what it was like, on the other side of alcoholism. Is there anything that you want to shed light on that you think could either help people who are in family dynamics with alcoholics who are active, or ones who are actually sober now but still have that resentment that lingers towards that person? You have so much experience in a whole different realm of things. Is there anything like that really sticks out for you as far as what it was like, how you came to terms with it, and what it's like now for you?
Well, during it definitely sucked. Like really bad sucked. Probably the worst time of my life that I never want to think about ever again. Like, I will die happy never thinking about that whole time period ever again, which sucks, and I'm so sorry to say that. But yeah, there was during it, which was very confusing because from my perspective, it was like, this is my sister. There's, I didn't see it as like a disease or anything. It's just like, this is her. I'm like, well, this sucks because as much as I try to, reach out and communicate and show you that I'm here for you and I'm trying to like help you, it was like just fucking beating my head against a brick wall, making my own head bleed, trying to help you. And nothing was being seen or heard or acknowledged at any point. And then when the stories started getting crazier and crazier, like all the things, it got so bad to a point where I kind of just gave up, and I have hit my limit of trying to help you. I just couldn't do it anymore. So, yeah, that's when you kind of broke through a fence at a dock.
Oh.
At your uncle's place?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was my limit.
We got to hear. I mean, people need to know this.
Do they?
I mean, yeah, that's the night where your relationship was over.
Over. It was for me over.
But I think
And
you need
I
to.
remember not talking to you for a year, even though you don't remember a year, but I definitely was at least 6 months of not talking to you. I was done.
Yeah, that was one of my bottoms, like hands down. That was rough. We were in Oceanside. My uncle had a boat.
Well, be careful. Can they still get you for damaging?
Oh, Oceanside, California, not New York.
Okay, sure. Duh.
Callie.
Are you admitting guilt right now?
No, I'm saying presumptuously. No,
I don't know.
whatever. Hypothetically speaking, there was a boat.
There was an incident, hypothetically.
Yeah. So, me and Vodka, we were like this, but it was really like this, you know. And
It was like this.
yeah, it was like a tornado and a train colliding into one thing that ended in like a tsunami. And I was just like, it's fine. It's fine. No, this one was scary though. This one really like,
Yeah.
this was, all right, overdrank, obviously, right? Vodka, passed out on the boat. I did not like getting woken up ever, right? Because that meant I had to keep living and this sucks. So fast forward, I don't even know what time, but they're waking me up because it's now time to leave the boat. And I woke up from a drunken stupor and was very combative. I ended up punching my cousin in the chest, I think, like really hard. I just fucking decked her, screamed at her, if I'm remembering right. I stormed off the boat. I got into my car and I sped out of the supposed marina, and the gate was locked, like shut, locked, right? And I just blew right through that fucker, and just kept driving an hour until I went to my elementary school. I slept outside of it, right, in my car on the street, up the block from my elementary school, like outside of my elementary school. It was up the block from my house because I knew I couldn't go home. It was way too late. I was way too drunk. I woke up in the back seat of the car, no air conditioning, car off, super hot. And that was probably the worst morning I've ever had to wake up from. I don't know if I remember what. There was a few really bad ones, but that was one of the ones where I truly wanted to also die. I did not want to keep doing what I was doing. I didn't want to keep harming the people I was harming. I almost got my uncle kicked out of the boat. This one's screaming at me for that. This one is just completely done with me. And again, it was like this. I can't help it. Like, I can't stop. I can't help it, you know? And I just kept doing what I knew to do to make that pain go away. And it was drink, which was like so fucked. Because then just more of those nights kept happening, you know? But yeah, that remorse and that place of just not wanting to, like, I was so tired of doing the same things over and over and over again. When my intention was never that. I wanted her to know my intentions, not my actions. She had no fucking idea my intentions. All she saw was my actions. And that is such a huge part of the family disease of alcoholism. You know, like, I needed more love than ever. She was showing it in the way that she was capable and able and how she identified love to be shown. And I'm in a whole different fucking language, whole different world. it was this constant state of miscommunication. I was never good enough. I was too much. I was this happened, this trauma, this, I have to drink this. It was, and then this, you have to just shut it the fuck out. I cannot keep trying to help her. I am bleeding from that wall that I keep hitting. It makes complete sense when I look at this in hindsight of what the addiction did to our family, you know? And it's sad. It's sad because a lot of people don't get to where we're sitting now. And that's the part that I wish would change for everybody. That no matter how dark it is, no matter how much remorse you feel inside, there are other things you can do instead of drinking it away to make it better. And I didn't know that, you know? And I needed the bottom to fall out. So,
Well, that was a really shitty bottom.
yeah.
I didn't like that bottom. That one sucked. So there's that.
Yeah.
But after those few months of not talking to you, I had some time to like step back and, you know, reassess the situation in our relationship and what is actually going on. So I slowly started to like, you know, talk to you again and try to just be around you more and try to understand you. And so it wasn't the same because I was always very scared of that stuff happening again. So it was like I was trying to get near you, but I was also holding like a yardstick at you.
You know that 10-foot pole they talk about?
I'll look at
She's
you,
like,
but like I'm holding this stick this
I'll say
way.
hi. This is not a fucking olive branch, bitch. This is a fucking yardstick, so you better get your shit together. Yeah, and I was just like, stop putting the stick in my face.
Oh yeah.
No, it and I appreciate the fact that you were still willing to even point it in my direction, because that was the little seeds that I needed still to know that there was so much worth fighting for. You know, my relationship with you, with my brothers, with my parents, I didn't want to keep doing what I was doing anymore. And it got to a point where it didn't matter what I had to do. I was willing to do whatever it was. And then that's, you know, what brings us into our next episode when things start to change. The first steps out of the fire. So yeah, this was heavy. I know I wanted to talk about our work life, romantic life, inner self worlds, but I think it's pretty obvious that it was all shit.
Yeah.
If like you guys haven't picked up
Garbage.
on like active alcoholism towards the end, it sucks, you know, like
Like if I had to put it in one thing, dumpster fire.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
relationships, like everything
Yeah.
across the board.
No,
all types of
couldn't keep
relationships
jobs,
too.
couldn't show up on
Yeah.
time, couldn't.
Yeah.
Ugh. I
No,
remember
all
the
of it.
cars that I had. I had a car, okay, in the dead of summer that did not have AC, and I had to hold the driver's side door shut with a rope
Oh
while
my
driving.
God.
Okay, yeah. This was like really safe for me, especially when I would drink. You know, but you know how I talked about when I started praying and those spiritual things started happening. You know what happened? That car broke. It's now the winter time. Okay. And I said, oh my God, I really, I don't know what I'm doing. And you know what happened? A kid from my job said, hey, you can have my car. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, take it. I'm getting a new car. You could have this one. It had more rust on it than paint, but I was very grateful.
Oh my
And you know-
gosh.
And the car literally had no heat. It's in the winter, right? It was
Be grateful.
right? It was this thing where it was, so I was driving to Manhasset every day for work. So that commute, snowstorm, it was like a 3-hour ordeal, right? I remember in the midst of my alcoholism, hungover, miserable, wanting to drink, trying to just get home. Every time I pressed on the brake, water would spill out onto my feet. Okay.
Oh,
And I
God.
saw
Wait,
my breath
is
the
this the one
entire
with
way through.
mushrooms growing in the car?
Oh yeah, things were growing in the
Oh
car
my
because of the
God.
water.
The water.
Yeah,
I
no.
remember the mustard.
No, I mean my bottom was like bottom. And people have more bottom. Like the
Yeah.
best part about alcoholism is if you want to get sober, you can get off on any fucking floor. The bottom will always keep going lower. So that whole like bottom fell out. Yes, we're talking about the moments where we really were like, yo, I can't keep living like this. But it will keep going if you don't get off the fucking floor, you know? And that's what happened.
That's such a good way to put it.
But this was the best part of that God wink moment, right? Of when I started to invite him back in. The name of the car was a Dodge Spirit.
Oh gosh.
oh my God, I'm
Yep. And I was like, all right, God, here we go.
Spirit.
You know? And I think at that time I thought like spirits, like we're going to the liquor store. You know, meanwhile they're like, bitch, we mean us. Like, get your shit together. So the miscommunications, the dramas, the traumas,
the drama, everything was so dramatic.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand how I feel, and not even being able to have a conversation. It would just be like me, like stomping my feet and throwing my hands up and running out of a situation and then living in it.
So wait, do you mind if I ask you? Then, like, because you said you would either over-explain or not explain to not like enough. Like, what was it? Because you were communicating. What made you feel like you weren't being heard?
Yeah, I felt like I just wasn't being heard. Like, how can you not understand what's going on in here?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't over-explain. You just don't get it. No, because nobody in my family is alcoholic. Nobody.
So what is it that nobody was understanding that was going on in your mind?
And my life was really, really terrible.
Yeah, the thoughts in between your ears, no one was able to see.
No.
So if you try to explain it, it comes off in a whole different way.
Yeah, like if I'm nowadays, besides you, but if I'm talking to Casina and like Danny, they automatically get it. They know exactly how I'm feeling. I don't have to over-explain. Same thing with you. But when I'm with my family, I feel like I have to over-explain everything. Like, you're not grasping what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
100%. Because even me and Tasia, we just got through a huge breakthrough in our own personal relationship, which is actually the real reason why we pushed off this episode last week. And we needed to just do a funny one because we finally got to a place of really understanding each other finally.
Mm.
And I'm almost 15 years sober, you know?
Yeah, this shit happened like 2 weeks ago.
This was not.
Yeah.
Well, our relationship completely started repairing the moment I got sober.
Yes.
It evolved and things started getting better as I got better. My whole world changed when nothing was different, but I was changing, so it was different. That's like the most important thing for anyone in like early recovery. Nothing changes, but everything changes because what's in here starts to shift. And that is the hope. That's the light. That's the getting the solution. That's not alcohol. That's what happens, you know?
That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Well, for you.
Come on, guys.
But yeah, like, see, she like loves to dive into that stuff. But where we got to that point a few weeks ago was finally getting like, I call it following your breadcrumbs. You know, you just have to keep following what presents itself and what presents itself. And we really got to this place where I have never loved her more. I have never felt so understood by her more. I have never felt so accepted and loved. Everything changed again, you know? And it's because we're still willing to put in the work because we care to communicate, to build our relationships.
And it was actually the same from my end as well. Like, I finally understood that we were just literally talking two different languages, but our intentions were exactly the same.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, you finally understand that I was there for you and that I did love you the entire time.
Yes. Because I also felt the same for you, but you didn't feel that way. And that's when I was finally able to identify, holy shit.
I'm healing.
I'm healing.
Nice.
You know what I mean? But yeah. So that's going to be dived into way later in our series.
So fun.
Like love languages and all miscommunication, misunderstandings, and really how to get to the heart and soul of who you are and how to bring yourself into the world. Is that what were you going to say?
Yeah, I just have a question, probably more for you, but do you remember being like, why do you care so much what I'm doing to myself? Like, I could never understand like why Steven or my family cared so much what I was doing to myself. So what I drink, so what I do drugs. Why do you even care about me? That was huge for me. Did you feel that way?
Maybe in a certain way, but it came out like, just leave me the fuck alone. Like, I wanted to just be left alone. I wanted to, because I guess there was that fundamental, I know they care, and that makes me feel worse. So I need to remove myself from all people who show that, because it was too hard to see. So similar, but expressed differently. You know, same thing. Don't care about me so that I could do this and destroy everything and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
You know, but mine was more, but my thing was always more anger. I was very rageful. That was a huge part of my story before recovery and in recovery. Rage has always been a really, really, really challenging aspect for me.
You know what's interesting? Side note, now that you say it like that, rage is one of the things that I took the longest to understand.
Really?
Yeah.
I get it.
Rage and anger. It took until like this year, I finally understood it. So that's probably another thing in there.
Yeah, she's probably like, yo, this bitch is crazy. What the fuck is going on? People, I'm like, are you okay?
How was she my sister?
Yeah. No, but again,
Yeah,
you know how
so
they
long.
talk about people being mirrors, right? Me and her have mirrored so many things that we needed to really look at so that we could grow as people. And I think that's a big part too.
Yeah.
All right. So next week we are going to be talking a little bit more about when our light started, you know, those first few steps out of the fire, what it was like, what started to happen.
All the signs and synchronicities.
Everything. Like, this is where the light and the good, and like, early recovery was very challenging and hard, but it was now starting to shift on that balance scale of there is going to be more good than bad. Your worst days sober are better than your best days drinking. And that's been our experience. So I'm really excited to dive into that next week. We hope you all join us. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.